trump the Constitution. So whatever is in the Constitution remains in effect until it's repealed. And in fact, the fair tax says if it's not repealed, and I think it's 7 years because somebody fussed at me this week, but if it's not repealed in 7 years, you go back to a federal income tax. So we can't have that. We don't want a value-added tax, and we can't have two taxes. But on the military question, the gays in the military, I've answered this before. I never served in the military, and I believe one of the ways that you handle issues like this is you rely on those people with education, training, experience in a certain matter. This is a matter that I would leave to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and how they view it in the military, and let them handle it. I do, and I say this every time I'm asked this question, is the economy. Our economy is falling. We are in dangerous trouble. We are on a collision course just like Greece was. We must focus, and we must do it as a nation. Our leaders must do it, and at every opportunity, we must say our nation needs to be strong economically and our national security, and it must be strong. And if we're not strong economically, we can't focus on these things. So that needs to be our #1 priority, and we must be disciplined about it. Thank you.
Back to Annie. Okay, question number 5. What would you do to deal with the problem of illegal immigration?
The first thing you have to do is fix the fence. Get the fence up so we can stop people from coming in here illegally. That's the very first thing you have to do. Then we have to eliminate the environment for them to wanting to come here, and that's giving them our social programs like welfare and Medicaid and things like this. When they're illegal, they don't deserve those. We also have to punish employers that are hiring illegal aliens. We will allow aliens to come in our country and become American citizens legally, but they have to stand in line and go through the process, and I said before, they need to learn how to speak English. I am for putting military troops on the border because this has turned away from a law enforcement issue into a national security issue. We are being invaded. And Governor Brewer, thank God for her, is trying to stand up for what the federal government should be doing according to the Constitution. So that's my stand on the illegal immigration thing.
From my standpoint, you know, they're coming across that fence, I'd rather through a private patch. You got to do something about it. You know, we get our military down here with guns, not in office. We need to stop that and build a fence. Not rebuild it, rebuild a fence. But we need to build a fence that can't come over. And I'm going to tell you, if you cut off, and I'm an employer, I don't employ them, but I'm an employer. If you cut off the employment, you make it a crime to hire somebody who doesn't have a green card or work permit or something like that. It is a criminal offense. You'll stop the money flow, and the Mexicans go back across that fence on their own. You won't have to run them back by the military. So you got to do those things. And if we want to take the people who are here and say, well, okay, have you got a home to live in? Do you have a job? Okay, well, let's sell you a work permit for $200 or $300, let you have a work permit, and make the employer deduct taxes from them, because you know they're not fixing to send in a tax form at the end of the year. They're going to run back across the border to carry money home. So you go ahead and take that money out of them, know they're not going to file tax returns, and if they've got a work permit card. So if they don't, all the rest of them's got to go back across that damn water. I can tell you what, let 10.8 billion of them run into China and see what happens to them. Let them run into Germany, let them run in anywhere else on earth. Let them come across that border like that and see if you don't have men up there almost like fire ranges, nail them down and stop them and arrest them and put them back across that border. And that's what you'll have. And we've made a joke out of our border. I'm 6'5". I can't imagine I'll be able to sneak across one of our borders anywhere in America without getting seen. And that's ridiculous.
On the immigration issue, I think that you know, we have an immigration law on the books that was passed in 1986 when Reagan gave amnesty to 2.5 million illegal aliens. There were two other provisions, which was to finish the border. We haven't done it. There was another provision which was to establish employer verification. We have not done that. I'm puzzled. I'm not puzzled. But I am somewhat puzzled that this has become such a political issue. We're not solving the problem, really, that we have in front of us. It's an economic problem. It's a national security problem. We've got laws on the books, and before you talk about creating new laws, we need to enforce the laws that we have. But we have some other things too. There are, and I talked to a lot of people in Panama City Beach, and there are a lot of people that they want to hire. We need to make it less red tape for people to be able to work here and get legally into our system. That doesn't mean necessarily they're on a path to citizenship, but they need to be able to work legally. We need to outsource identification cards, like to a MasterCard, Visa. We need to know who is in this country and where they are working and where they live. That's a national security issue. We can do that. They need to be paying taxes when they're working, and we need to increase some of the specialized visas because we need specialized people to come over here and work. So I would say, number one, let's enforce the rules that we have, and let's get rid of some of the red tape to make this more workable, mainly for us and for our economy. Thank you.
As far as our immigration problem, we must secure our border. We must know who is here, why they are here, and what they are going to do on the way onto where they are going. That is a national security issue, and that is first and foremost the single greatest priority of the federal government is to protect the American citizens. Secondly, I think that we must perfect the guest worker program. We've got to give people that want to be here legally, we have to know why they're here and what they're going to do here. I know as a business owner, when we hire someone in our business, we do a social security verification. We do a driver's license check. We do a workman's comp check, a criminal background, because we want to make sure that the legitimacy of that hire. And I don't think that any business who wants to care for itself and its liability going forward, I don't think it's too much to ask that they verify the citizenship of the people that they are wanting to hire. As a business owner who owns 3 businesses, that is not a headache for me. That is to solve a liability for me. So that's something I don't mind doing. Thirdly, I think that we've got to allow the states to protect their own citizens when the federal government chooses to ignore the Constitution. As far as Senate Bill 1070 in Arizona, I think that clearly immigration is a responsibility of the federal government. But what do we do as a nation when the federal government thumbs its nose at the very Constitution that our leaders have taken an oath to protect? The citizens of the state of Florida must know that Tallahassee has their self-interest and their security at heart, even if the federal government does not. And then finally, we've got to improve legal immigration. It is laborious, it is incompetent, and we got to make sure that people that want to come to this country to improve their lifestyle, that they want to come, they learn our language, they are assimilated into what it means to be an American. Thank you.
Okay, Ron, this question number 6 is to you first. What is your position on the nomination of Elena Kagan to the Supreme Court?
She sure wouldn't get my vote, would she, folks? No, I wouldn't vote for her. You know, here's somebody with very little experience of any kind, and her whole ideology is the same as the Obama administration, which naturally he's going to pick people that are like that. And I would do everything in my power to block her being able to be taken in as a Supreme Court judge. I don't think she qualifies for it. I don't care if she's a woman. I don't care if she's black, white, green, whatever. I care what she believes. And we want people that will uphold this Constitution. It's no accident that this Constitution, Bill of Rights, and the England Declaration of Independence all together, that's the 50 pages. It's very clear, very precise what we should do and should not do in this country. And when they get in there like her and think that, you know, it's just kind of a working document. It's a working document, all right? That's why after 230-something years,